This is Irving House Historic Center in New Westminster, one of the city's most prized heritage attractions. Each year, the stately Victorian-era home attracts about 15,000 visitors to marvel at the many antique treasures within. Good evening, and welcome to Red's Classic Theater. And we'll show you many of these antiques that fill these rooms throughout our program. Our movie this week is the 1948 Sam Goldwyn production, Enchantment. It stars David Niven and Teresa Wright. Niven had doubts about his role in the picture, as he'd never played an elderly man before. So to help him get into character, he weighted down his clothes with 32 pounds of lead to make his movements more labored. And he even bleached his own hair to make it appear silver. When Niven arrived at home from filming with his hair white, his children burst into tears, and even his own dog bit him. And now here's Act One of Enchantment, starring David Niven. Hope you're enjoying our movie tonight as we visit historic Irving House in New Westminster. The home was built between 1862 and 64 for Captain William Irving, who pioneered the riverboat trade on the lower Fraser River. Now, this is the large parlor. It's only one of 14 rooms at Irving House, furnished to represent the era up to about 1890. Now, even the wallpaper is authentic. It's the original stock that was pasted on in 1865. Notice the unusual shape of the grand piano. They were made in a square shape back then, apparently to fit into a corner more easily and avoid taking up more room than necessary. And there's also a horsehair settee, marble fireplace, and ornate plasterwork throughout the home, all indicating a standard of construction rarely seen today. At over 4,000 square feet, Irving House is large even by today's standards. Its original cost of construction, $10,000, which was a tidy sum back in the mid-1800s. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Irving House is considered to be one of the finest examples of a preserved Victorian-era home in all of BC. Now, if you'd like to visit the home, it's open Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 5 p.m. Group tours are also available Wednesday through Sunday. For information, call Irving House at 521-7656. Admission is by donation. And now back to our movie Enchantment, starring David Niven and Teresa Wright. We're at Irving House this week on Red's Classic Theater. Tonight's movie was made during the period when David Niven was under contract to Sam Goldwyn. Not happy days for the actor. Instead of using Niven in his own films, Goldwyn would loan out Niven's services to the highest bidder. The result were some of the least memorable films of David Niven's 90-film career. In Bonnie Prince Charlie, Niven was relegated to lurking about the Scottish Highlands in a blonde wig and a tartan kilt. And then came A Kiss in the Dark with Jane Wyman, in which Niven played an unconvincing pianist. And that was followed by another costume catastrophe, The Elusive Pimpernel, that earned Niven poisonous reviews. Well, he finally rebelled against Goldwyn after being slated to play second fiddle to Shirley Temple in a teen romance called A Kiss for Corliss. Well, after a stormy meeting, Sam Goldwyn finally agreed to release David Niven from his contract. And better days and brighter pictures lay ahead. And now let's return to David Niven in Enchantment, also starring Evelyn Keyes. Sitting here at this ornate dining room table at Irving House in New Westminster, it's time to look at our mailbag, and thank you for the requests you continue to send in. Nan Ferguson from Abbotsford requested I Want to Live, starring Susan Hayward. And Janet Chappell from Nanaimo, she'd like to see The Music Man, starring Robert Preston and Shirley Jones. Now, if you have a movie you'd like to see or a suggestion of a location, please write to Red Robinson KVUS-TV in Vancouver. That's Red Robinson KVUS-TV in Vancouver. Coming up next week, it's a clash of cultures as the chic Irene Dunn marries the rugged rancher Fred McMurray in the 1950 production, Never a Dull Moment. And now let's return to our feature presentation tonight, Enchantment. This week we're visiting Irving House Historic Center in New Westminster. Earlier, we mentioned some of the disappointing films of David Niven's career. We think it's only fair to mention some of his best performances, too. One of the better ones was the highly popular 1956 movie Around the World in 80 Days. Now, this was the film that expanded the concept of the cameo appearance, with more than 40 top stars doing guest shots in the picture. Perhaps Niven's finest hour on the screen was in the 1958 drama Separate Tables. Playing an aging war hero, Niven earned an Academy Award as the year's Best Supporting Actor. He was equally at home in action pictures like The Guns of Navarone, in which he played a member of an elite Allied strike force on a dangerous mission. And Niven was at his debonair best with Peter Sellers in the 1967 comedy Casino Royale, a spoof of the James Bond spy movies. And he fashioned a second career for himself as a writer, too, with 2 books of Hollywood anecdotes and 2 books of fiction. Now let's return to David Niven in Enchantment. We're at Irving House Historic Center in New Westminster on this week's edition of Red's Classic Theater. Time for our movie trivia quiz. Earlier, we mentioned that in the motion picture Around the World in 80 Days, there were 40 cameo appearances. Now, most of these actors were not paid in cash, but they were paid in something else. Can you tell us what? We'll be back with the answer in just a moment. And now here's the answer to our movie trivia quiz. For appearing in the motion picture Around the World in 80 Days, many of the actors accepted not money, but cars. An example, Noel Coward was given a new Cadillac. And when a studio executive asked if it was true that he'd been given a new car for only a day's work, he replied, "No, madam, it's for a lifetime of experience." And now let's return to our feature movie, Enchantment. Well, that concludes this week's edition of Red's Classic Theater. Hope you enjoyed Enchantment, starring David Niven, Teresa Wright, and Evelyn Keyes. Join us next Sunday night on Red's Classic Theater for Never a Dull Moment, a 1950 comedy that stars Fred MacMurray, Irene Dunn, Andy Devine, and Natalie Wood. In the meantime, if you have a suggestion of a location like Irving House or a movie you'd like to see, write to me, Red Robinson, KBUS-TV in Vancouver. We'd like to take this opportunity of thanking the folks at Irving House Historical Center for hosting our program this week, and in particular, Valerie Francis. If you'd like a guided tour, call 521-7656. That's 521-7656. And until next Sunday night on Red's Classic Theater, when we bring you Never a Dull Moment, thank you for being with us. Happy memories, and good night, everybody.